Oh, snap. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, welcome in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, the follow button on Rumble, and the like button on both, y'all. The like button on both. We'll be talking about Chad Daybell here. And by the way, we're live on TikTok too. So we're live on TikTok, Rumble, and YouTube. But I saw this video, Court TV, talking about Chad Daybell and his neighbor testifying about some red flags around Tammy Daybell's funeral. Kathy, thanks for the follow on TikTok. So, here we go, y'all. Let's check it out. I'm going to shrink myself down. And let's get this thing going.
Good Friday to you, and welcome to Court TV Live. I'm Ted Rollins. Glad to be with you as we round out another.
Sorry, y'all. I forgot. I fixed the audio. Remember how y'all were saying the audio was kind of low? I fixed it on these ones.
Week here, another busy week at Court TV. We're watching testimony in the Doomsday Prophet murder trial.
And I blew y'all's eardrums. There's people at home with headphones on going,
"How dare you?
How dare you blow our eardrums, Patrick?" Oh, and go off the grid, y'all. Go off the grid. HauntedSide.com. You can find all kinds of ways to support the show directly. We got 3 last night. I think we can do better than that, y'all. I think we can get 10 off the grids tonight. The link in the bio, thehauntedSide.com. Let's do this.
For Chad Daybell in Idaho, he faces first-degree murder charges for the death of his wife, Tammy, and for the deaths of his 16-year-old stepkids, Tylee Ryan, and
Oh, geez. I was like, wait, what? And he said stepkid. Okay, yeah, because technically they got married, which is weird to call them stepkids. That was, I guess, factually correct, but sounds really weird when you say it like that. Oh, and by the way, I'm so sorry. Shout out to Mommy Little Monster. Thank you for the Rumble rant before we even got started. Ready for bedtime stories. Yep, that's it. Thank you so much for the Rumble rant. Very sweet of you. Okay, let's keep going.
JJ Vallow. It is a case that we have all watched unfold over the.
Was that weird for anybody else that he said that they called Tylee and JJ Chad's stepkids? That sounded weird, didn't it?
The years, and there he is, Mr.
Jennifer. Thank you for the hand hearts too, y'all. I appreciate the hand hearts. We're trying to get 100 of them because I need some love today, y'all. It's been a tough day. It's been a tough day for Patrick, y'all. It's been a very tough day. But anyways, let's keep going.
Mr. Prophet, Mr.
Yes,
Doomsday.
weird, yeah.
Prosecutors say that he and his wife Lori thought that Lori's 2 children were dark spirits and zombies, and definitely
some crazy shit. Tuna fish sticks that
needed to be eliminated so they could frolic in Hawaii. For the defense side, John Pryor's trying to portray Daybell as a religious fella in a relationship with a very manipulative woman, Lori Vallow Daybell. It's all her fault.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
That's what we have to say for that.
According to the defense, let's
Serenity every day. Good to see you. Thanks for the hand hearts, y'all. We're trying to get 100 of those bad boys. Bree, thank you. Carly, thank you. Y'all, thank you.
Go back into the courtroom now. On the stand is a neighbor. Stephen Schultz lived right next to Chad Daybell.
All right, I'm going to just inquire of the witness, Mr. Schultz. Now that you've been placed under oath, there is a order in this case prohibiting witnesses from viewing trial testimony before they testify. I'll note that the trial is being live streamed and also open for public attendance. Mr. Schultz, have you observed or viewed any of the trial testimony in the case?
I've not viewed anything.
Okay, and have you discussed with anyone else the testimony they've given in the case?
No.
Okay, thank you for that affirmation. Mr. Wixom, you can begin your direct.
Thank you, Your Honor. Excuse me. Good morning, Mr. Schultz. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your full name for the record? It's Stephen R. Schultz. Stephen, Steven, R-S-C-H-U-L-T-Z. Thank you. And where do you live? Springville, Utah. And are you currently retired? Yes, I am. When did you retire? I retired in 2022.
Damn. Retired? Man, what the hell does that mean? Anybody know what that word is? Retired? It's a weird word. I don't think any of us will ever say that word or hear that word. Tina, thank you for the Rumble rant. Thank you for fixing the sound. Oh, Tina, thank you so much for the Rumble rant. Hey, I listen to y'all. I'm trying to make this podcast and make this experience the very best I can for y'all, because you know what? You guys deserve it. You guys on Rumble, you guys on YouTube, and you guys on TikTok. You deserve some not proper. What's the word I was trying to come up with? You guys deserve quality entertainment. Because let's be real, the majority of live streams on TikTok suck. I'm telling it like it is. Y'all know. I mean, thumbs up in the chat. Y'all know I'm not lying. The majority of them, y'all swipe right on through. That shit sucks. And YouTube and Rumble is pretty good. I mean, there's some really good stuff, but there's also some shit there too. But y'all deserve the best. So if y'all say something, I'm going to do my very best to fix it. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Y'all, TikTok, hit the follow button. Keep tapping the screen too. We need 25,000 likes, y'all. We need 25,000 likes. Let's get it. Come on, tap the screen. Carly, thank you for the love puffs. And y'all, we're trying to get 100 of those hand hearts. And we got 8 of them. We got a ways to go, y'all. Hit me with the little hand heart love. It's been a tough day for Patrick. Been a tough day. But I love you guys. All right, let's go. Come on, y'all.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, and the recap. Basically, y'all, it's Chad Daybell. This is the neighbor, Stephen Schultz. He's on the stand right now. He's just getting sworn in, testifying about how Chad and other people are acting really weird around Tammy's funeral. So that's where we're at right now, y'all. Nothing crazy happening right now. Did you make a Why You Lying shirt? No, not yet, Jennifer, but I need to. That one I'm going to do. I promise you. Oh, and anybody that's watching on TikTok, if you want to actually see the videos, come on over to the YouTube channel or the Rumble channel or both. Just search the Mystery Project on YouTube or Rumble. You'll find the channel. Subscribe, follow, do all the things, and you can actually see the video that we're watching. So come on over, the Mystery Project on YouTube and the Mystery Project on Rumble. Let's go.
And prior to retiring, what is it that you did for a living? I worked for 25 years with the state of Utah in the Child Support Enforcement Division. And
oh, damn.
And for the last, well, from 2010 through 2010 to 2022, I worked for 2 separate mortuaries in Springville.
And what did you do for the mortuaries?
I was a funeral director, also an embalmer, and
did you do that for the entire approximate 12 years?
Yes.
Damn, that's crazy as hell. He worked in child support enforcement and a funeral home in case you didn't pay up. You know what I mean? Just kidding. I made that up for attention. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's probably some people that were like, yo, he ain't paying up. How do we handle this, you know?
And I want to ask, do you know Chad Daybell?
I do.
How do you know him?
Chad and I were neighbors from when we moved into the ward or into the neighborhood. That was in 2006. I'd purchased my parents' home, who'd passed away, and Chad lived 2 doors down from me.
And when you said neighborhood, is that in Springville?
Yes, in Springville.
So approximately how many years did you live as neighbors with Mr. Daybell?
Until they left for Idaho, I believe it was 2015, at the end of the school year.
Approximately 9 years?
Yeah.
And what about the rest of his family? Did you know his wife, Tammy?
I did, yes.
And what about his children?
Yes.
How well would you say that you knew the family?
Very well. We were neighbors. We attended the same church together. We had many conversations and worked together, and both in the funeral industry, as well as just basic good neighbors.
Would you consider yourself friends?
Yes.
You just mentioned that you work together in the industry.
Yeah, imagine if he was like, not anymore, but at that time, yes. Ooh. Firefly, good to see you. Long time no see. Y'all, hit me with the hand hearts on TikTok. Hit me with those hand hearts. We got 8. We're trying to get 100. Keep tapping the screen too. 25,000 likes, y'all. Let's get it. Let's hit some goals tonight, y'all. TikTok. They're mad at me too.
What work did Chad do that you're referring to?
Chad worked for I believe both Springville and Spanish Fork cemeteries. He was the sexton.
And could you just briefly explain what did he do as a sexton?
Mr. Rumble on YouTube. Yep. Shannon. Yep. We're on YouTube and Rumble. Just search the Mystery Project if you want to watch the videos along with us, y'all.
What was his role?
As a sexton, he would take care of the cemetery. He would basically assist us in the funerals when we arrived for a graveside service. He would open and close the graves. Yeah, and so there was a lot of free time that we had to talk and a lot of share stories and stuff while the funeral burial was going on.
Thank you. And I want to draw your attention back to October 19th of 2019. Did you learn of the passing of Tammy Daybell?
I did.
How did you learn that?
The first I'd heard is that Jason William, a neighbor, contacted me and said that Tammy had passed away. And that's the first I'd heard of it. That was on a Saturday.
Did you later hear from Chad Daybell that
day? I did, yes. A few hours later, he called me and wanted to know if I would be willing to bring Tammy back home to Springville and take care of the services down here. And I said I'd be honored to.
Oh, wow.
Why did you feel that way?
Because this is a good family. The Daybells were a solid rock in our community. They, in our exact neighborhood, there were 5 members of the same family in that vicinity. And I thought highly of all of them.
You mentioned the name Jason a moment ago.
Thought. Past tense. Past tense. Ooh.
Yes.
Were you aware, was Chad acquainted with Jason?
I would hope so. He was his brother-in-law.
And why did you contact Jason to come with you?
A lot of times people would like to assist in the funeral services other than just being a silent participant. When there's an opportunity, I like to get the family members involved. And plus, it was a long drive from Springville to Rexburg and back in the same day. And I would really appreciate somebody who could also help me drive.
Shout out to Kayla. Thanks for the follow. And Larissa, thanks for the follow, y'all. If you're new on TikTok, hit the follow button. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live every single night, virtually every single night. I might take 1 or 2 days off a month, maybe.
How dare you?
I know, maybe, but I'm live tonight. So y'all come on in, hit the follow button, keep tapping the screen. Let's get 25,000 likes as fast as we can. And guys, hit me with the little hand heart over here on TikTok. We got 8. We're trying for 100. Come on, y'all. And Rumble rant. And hit the thumbs up. YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up as well. We got 27 people watching on YouTube, and we got 130 people watching on Rumble. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate it. Marcy! Like that. Those ones right there. Marcy, thank you so much. One more, and we're 10% of the way done.
And do that for that whole thing. So I asked Jason. He says he would love to do that.
So did you, in fact, go to Rexburg?
Yes, we did.
What day did you do that?
We did that the following day, Sunday morning, is when we left.
About what time did you arrive in Rexburg?
It was, I want to say 9 or 10, somewhere around that, because we had to. It's a 4.5, 5.
Thank you.
Hour drive.
Or Pat Henry. It's probably Pat Henry, huh? That's what it is. It's Pat Henry. I always thought it was like Patherny. It's Pat Henry. I just learned that.
Bruh.
Thank you. Gracie, thank you for that one too. Let's go.
And, yeah, so we arrived at that time.
Where did you first go when you came to Idaho?
We went directly to the house.
Whose house?
To Chad's house. Chad and Tammy's house.
And when you arrived there, who was at the home?
There was obviously, of course, Chad and his oldest son, Garth. And his Chad's parents.
Did you talk to Chad?
I did, yeah.
Can you explain to the jury what that conversation was, please?
Basically, I went up to approached him, gave him a hug, and said, "I am so sorry for your loss. This was a devastating blow to him, I'm sure, and as it was for me to know that someone as young as Tammy had passed away."
Did you have a conversation with him about how Tammy had passed?
I did.
What was that conversation?
I just asked him, I says, what had happened? And he said that she had been experiencing some difficulty with breathing. And
Oh, man. Pat, thank you. Pat, thanks for that one, too. Oh, my goodness.
And
Jennifer.
And she went to bed that night. And then when he woke up at some time during the evening or the morning, I'm not sure when, because I wasn't there, that she had passed. She passed away.
Is it Amelie? Amelie. That's a cool last name. Amelie. Is that how you say it? Thank you for the follow.
Yeah, I believe he found her on the floor, and then he called Garth in to help lift his mom back into the bed. And that's what he told me.
Did he say anything to you about conversations that he had had with the coroner?
He did. I asked him who the attending physician was, and he said, "Well, we had the county coroner come, and the county coroner had already been there and left before we arrived." And he said the county coroner said that it appears that she may have died from an embolism, and then she just like she left after that. I did ask Chad if they were going to do an autopsy, which is usually a case when there's not an attending physician there, but in this case, the county coroner was the person in charge at that point, and made the decisions as to that she could go ahead and be embalmed.
Did Chad express to you whether or not he wanted an autopsy?
He did not want an autopsy.
Did he say that in so many words, or how did he express that?
That's
to you?
pretty much it. Yeah, he says, I asked him, he says, are they going to do an autopsy to find out? Because, it might be for heredity's sake. Children might want to know how their mother passed away, and so they could, watch for symptoms, signs, stuff like that. But, so basically the words were, "No, I do not want her to have an autopsy."
What other things do you recall discussing with Chad that morning?
I always come prepared when I'm especially going a long distance like that. Well, I'll bring the booklets that I need. I'll bring a casket book so they can pick out caskets. I try to do all that in the home so they don't have to make a secondary trip into the mortuary to make those arrangements. So most of the arrangements were done by the time we left the place, as far as choosing a casket, choosing a vault, choosing a place where they're going to be buried. Putting together a program was still left open because all things happened very quickly.
When you say very quickly, what do you mean by that?
Quickly meaning that he wanted to have the funeral service as soon as possible. And this was on a
Lisa, 100%.
Sunday morning. And I said, well, with social media, we need to have word get around so that the people will know, so you'll have somebody showing up at the funeral. And even announcing in the newspaper, there's deadlines to meet. And so he said he wanted to get this done just as quickly as he could. His words, not mine.
What was his proposed funeral schedule?
He wanted to do it as quickly as he could. I think there was some discussion of even possibly doing it Monday, but that was very quick. We talked about it, and he said, we'll do the viewing on Monday. We came to a reasonable
Molly, thanks for the heartbeat.
conclusion that
Catherine, big surprise there, right?
the funeral on Tuesday would
Lindsay, good night.
probably suffice.
In your experience as a funeral director, would you say that scheduling was in the norm?
No, usually there's a 3-4 day time period between the death and the funeral. Sometimes up to a week. There have been funerals that we've not held for weeks.
And why do you typically at least have 3 or 4 days? What's the reason for that?
The preparation to get things ready for the funeral, like I said, to ascertain information for the death certificates, to get programs together and gathered.
To let people know what happened and when. Yeah, he's the funeral director in town, y'all. And the neighbor. He is the neighbor. Or was the neighbor.
Letting people know, setting up the church, putting the Relief Society in motion so that they can have the lunch.
Catherine, yeah, he was already planning his wedding. They already had the shirt, the dress, the rings. They already searched all that stuff. Crazy as hell, isn't it? Molly, thanks for the team bracelet. Thanks for the hoops. And y'all hit me with the hand hearts. We're trying for 100 of those things. And we got 11 right now. So hit me with those hand hearts, y'all. Let's do it. YouTube and Rumble, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's keep going.
Prepared. It can be done in the future.
Oh, and tap the screen like crazy, TikTok. And hit the follow button if you're new here.
A few couple of days, but for the most part, just to give them the opportunity. Did you notice anything about Chad's demeanor?
All right, Stephen Schultz on the stand, funeral director, former neighbor and colleague. Remember, Chad used to be a grave digger, so he and Stephen went way back. Said, I would love the Daybells. But then Chad wanted a quick burial, quick funeral, and that stood out to him, and no autopsy. Let's talk about it. Corey Pegues is here in studio, along with Michelle Thomas in studio. Good to see you both on this Friday. Michelle, do you first, what stands out here? This guy seems pretty true blue, straight-laced, and even he was a little bit, no autopsy?
Right. Well, thanks for having me, Ted. So he's showing us that this defendant had no sort of sympathies or concern about his wife who had just passed.
None.
That's not your typical sort of response. Like,
no, it is not.
I want to, bury her and get the funeral arrangements over with as soon as possible. He should have been grieving. He should have been mourning. Maybe some tears would have been helpful. But according to this witness, he was just sort of like, let's make the plans. Let's get this done so we can move on. And I think that really is going to stand out.
Corey, Chad had predicted Tammy's demise for years, and the defense sort of is trying to, in a weird way, using that. They go, "Oh,
You what?
Can you imagine walking around for years being like, oh, yeah, my wife, yeah, she's going to, yeah, pretty early. In fact, not very long. It's just going to happen any day now. And then she does. Chad, what the hell is wrong with you, bro?
What? What the fuck?
That's nuts, y'all. If that's crazy, hit me with a hand heart because we're trying to hit 100 of them, y'all. 25,000 likes. We got that, though. And 300-something people watching. Y'all, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live. When, y'all? Put in the chat. How often am I live?
predicted it.
Let's see what y'all say.
And it happened. Of course, he's not going to be too floored. I mean, this is a guy with visions. He understands these things. Us mortals don't.
Didn't he like date Jesus or something like that? Him and Lori dated Jesus back in the day in one of his past lives.
Is that going to fly, though, with the jury?
Well, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you also, Ted. Okay, that's not going to fly. I mean, I could predict me passing away.
No,
we all. There's one. Everybody is eventually going to leave Earth, so I'm not gonna buy it. And there's just too many holes in his story. And remember, this is 4 deaths right now, Michelle. 4. We got.
Yeah, they're
Andy,
piling up.
We got the 2 kids, and we got Lori's ex-husband.
Alex Cox is soon to go, and of course they don't know about the kids. They don't know where the kids are yet, that they're on Chad's land. But you're right. The problem here is, sure, you could maybe get around this one little issue, like this. Oh, okay, you know, this one little. No, this is one of 100 that are piling up. These little things. We'll see how John Pryor deals with it on Cross. Let's get a break here. Welcome back. Court TV Live testimony continues in Idaho for the.
No break, y'all, because I edited it out, y'all. Let's go.
A man accused of murdering 2 kids and his first wife, Tammy. Prosecutors say that Chad Daybell killed Tammy Daybell, J.J. Vallow, and Tylee Ryan because they were obstacles in his plan to be with Lori Vallow Daybell. On the stand is Stephen
Jesus.
You what?
Smith. He's a former neighbor and colleague of Chad back in his grave digging days. Let's go back into the courtroom. We'll pick up.
Nuts. Jenny, thanks for the hand heart. Y'all hit me with those hand hearts. We're trying to get 100 of those bad boys. Come on, y'all. Hit me with a few of them.
The direct examination where we left off.
Did you notice anything about Chad's demeanor and tone when you were interacting with
Allison, yep.
him planning the funeral arrangements?
When I was there, of course, when I gave him the hug, he was teary, and he just lost his wife. But it just seemed like there was a business-like atmosphere about it, which could be either a person's way of dealing with grief, or it could be, I want to get
Business-like attitude about it. Oh, man.
this thing done and over with. In fact, I believe the direct words to me were, I don't want to drag this out. I don't want to drag this whole process out. I says, okay, we'll work hard and try to get it done by Tuesday.
Did he happen to articulate any reasons why he didn't want to drag it out?
No, I just wanted to, I think it was just for, because that's sometimes is a long time to wait to bury somebody, maybe 3 days, 5 days, 1 week, 10 days, whatever, before the service. He didn't want to have the hoopla of that going on.
So when you finished talking to Chad, making these arrangements, what did you do
Jennifer.
next?
At that point, when we were all finished with the arrangements, we moved over then to contact the mortician who actually picked Tammy up and did the embalming. It was Flam Funeral Home in Rexburg. I made a phone call to Mr. Flam indicating that we were finished at Chad's house and that we would like to pick Tammy up and bring her back to Springville. And so he...
Angie, thank you so much. Nikki, thank you for the roses too. Angie coming in hot right now.
left his church meeting that he was in attendance to there, and we met him at the mortuary, his mortuary.
Is that a normal thing when there's a deceased that needs to go to another state? Do you normally contact the local mortuary?
Yes, we call that a trade embalming, where they will do the first call. When they get the first notification of death, they will go ahead and embalm and then prepare whatever they need to. And then they contact, the family will then contact a mortuary to come in, and whoever's going to be doing the service, which in this case was Chad. And he called me directly.
And I'm just going to ask the witness, could you slow down a bit?
Sure.
Our court reporter, you're talking pretty quickly. It's fine. You're articulate, but for the reporter's sake, if we could just slow down the pace.
Yeah.
She's like, man, I can only type 300 words a minute.
Thank you, sir. So when you arrived at Flam's, what did you do?
We met Miss...
Real quick, Misty, yes. So the Lori Daybell trial, we followed extensively. We did basically what we're doing right now. We did, because remember, then it wasn't live. It wasn't being live streamed. So we had to get the kind of doing what we're doing right now, where we get it at the end of the day or the end of the week. And we were listening to as many full-on testimonies as we could. Sometimes the recaps of them, but most of the time it was the full-on testimony. So yeah, if you'll probably find them. They probably are still up on the Haunted side on YouTube. But I think I transferred everything over to the Mystery Project that was on YouTube, on the Haunted side YouTube. Because the Haunted side on YouTube is like the paranormal stuff that I do, but the Mystery Project on YouTube is the true crime stuff. So the Mystery Project, y'all, by the way, 330 something people over here on TikTok. Hit the follow button, and if you want to watch the videos with us, we're live on we're live on YouTube and Rumble right now also. So just search the Mystery Project. There's a sticker somewhere around here that says it. Search the Mystery Project on YouTube, subscribe to that channel, or come over to Rumble where there's no restrictions. And it's rumble.com/the Mystery Project, and subscribe and follow and do all those things. Hit the like button and come watch the video if you want to actually see what it is and not just hear it. All right, let's keep going. And y'all hit me with the hand hearts. Angie went crazy too. We're at 20, trying to get to 100, y'all. Let's get it. And keep tapping the screen. Let's get 50,000 likes, TikTok. Everybody tap the screen like crazy.
Mr. Flam.
Oh, and if you're just tuning in, we're listening to Stephen Schultz. This was Chad's former neighbor, and he was the guy that Chad was going through to get the funeral prepared for Tammy Daybell. So that's what he's testifying right now, is that he knew them. They were neighbors. They were very friendly. Chad worked for him as the sexton in the graveyard. Angie, thank you. Angie, so much love. I need it too, y'all. I had a tough day. Part of my French, I had a shitty day. So I need that extra love tonight, Angie. Thank you so much. But yeah, so he's testifying that Chad was like rushing through the funeral arrangements and stuff for Tammy, and he said that it felt almost business-like. That's what he testified. Felt like it was more just like a business transaction, not him taking care of the final arrangement and final expenses for his wife that had just passed the day before that or 2 days before that. Craziness. Let's keep going.
And he directed me to the dressing room, which we call is the room outside the embalming room.
Hey, Truck.
And he assisted me in moving Tammy from the table over to the cot that I had brought up so that we could transport her back home.
Did you make any observations of Tammy at that point?
Just a quick glance, because I'm concerned as well that this was a sudden death. I understand that she was sick, but somebody that young is usually physically enough to overcome it. But I wasn't there during her convalescence. So
when you say that you understand she was sick, how did you have that understanding?
I talked to Jason and indicated that that's what he was told the same thing, but I actually heard that directly from Chad as well. She was not feeling well. She had a chronic cough. She was sick, yeah.
So your understanding of her sickness was from the information provided by Chad. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you said something a moment ago I'd like you to comment more to the jury on. You said you looked at the body because you were concerned. Can you explain the concern that you had?
Whenever there's somebody who's passed away without the doctors being there to handle that, I'm always really leery of things such as, well, I don't want to have an autopsy. I don't want to drag this thing out.
Yup. Little bit creepy.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Y'all, hit the follow button if you're new here on TikTok. Keep tapping the screen. 50,000 likes. Plus some hand hearts, y'all. Right there, 26. We're trying to get 100.
And there were already some red flags that I had encountered prior to her passing away. That there was a cause of suspicion for me, and that, not suspicion, concern. I wanted to find out if she had fallen, if there was anything wrong with Tammy. Flam Funeral Home actually did an excellent job in the embalming process. And I just glanced at her just briefly, checking for any type of broken bones, marks on the face, on the neck, on the arms, on the torso, because she was there. And in the process of moving, we did see her entire body. But I saw absolutely nothing that I could determine. I'm not a medical examiner. I don't know.
So in fairness, you found nothing that you thought would be suspicious.
I found nothing there that would be suspicious, that would lead to my suspicions, but because of the red flags, it just, something wasn't sitting well with me.
Other than, I don't want to drag it out, I don't want an autopsy, was there anything else causing red flags for you?
The speed of the trial, the speed of the funeral.
Okay.
No.
And eventually you did transport Tammy's body back to Springville?
We did. Jason, William, and myself transferred her all the way back to Springville.
And without stating anything that Jason said, did you have a discussion with Jason about Tammy on the drive back?
I did.
What kinds of things did you bring up and say to Jason in that conversation?
In that conversation, we were both talking about how quickly things were doing it, how quickly things were happening. We both felt there was a feeling of being rushed through this whole process. And I actually turned to Jason and I said, do you think he killed her? Was that based upon the...
Oh, what?
Bruh.
Damn. You got the dude. Your friend. This guy has known this family for years. And just the way he's acting, he's like, he tells the guy, do you think he did it? Do you think he his wife? Oh, man.
How dare you?
Chad, you crazy as hell. You crazy as hell for that one. Y'all hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. TikTok, 50,000 likes. Let's get it. Hit me with those hand hearts too. We got 26 out of 100. And consider subscribing if you like the show. Help support it. Help me go live every night, y'all. Hit me with a little hand heart action. I need some love. It's been a tough day. But subscribe to the channel and go off the grid, y'all. We got 3 off the grids last night. We're trying to beat that. Every night we just try to beat the one from the night before. So, y'all, thehauntedSide.com. Click the link that's in the bio on TikTok. Bam! ThehauntedSide.com. You can find the merch. Go get the You Look Suspicious shirt. Go get the Allegedly shirt. You can find Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all that stuff. Support the show directly. Get me a coffee. I need some coffee, y'all. I need some coffee. There we go. There we go. And my neck needs to pop, apparently. All right, let's continue. I appreciate you guys. Keep in mind, you don't have to do that stuff, y'all, but I do appreciate it. So let's keep going.
Red flags that you were feeling?
I was based on the red flags.
And when you arrived at the funeral home in Springville, did you do anything further with Tammy's body?
Prepared her for the family who were going to come in later Sunday night to dress her, or to finish dressing her. Typically, a funeral director will clothe them up to usually for sure to have the underwear on and get the body prepped ready so that they can come in and help dress. I did most of the dressing myself on this because they only wanted really to do the makeup to make sure she looked good.
Did you re-examine her body at the Springfield Funeral Home?
I did, just out of curiosity for myself, just to satisfy my curiosity as to was there anything wrong. I saw absolutely nothing wrong.
So there are at least 2 times that you looked at her body.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I don't have any questions at this time.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Rickson.
Okay, that's the direct examination. We'll see what John Pryor does with this witness. Corey Pegues, Michelle Thomas.
Oh, man. What's John Pryor going to say? Well, did you know Lori Vallow? Did you know Lori Vallow? You know that Lori Vallow did everything, don't you? Don't you know that Lori Vallow is responsible and that Chad Daybell did nothing? Don't you know that? Are you aware that Lori Vallow...
How dare you?
What? Jennifer! Yes! Off the grid! That's the first one, y'all. That's the hardest one to get, that first one. Thank you for the cup of coffee, Jennifer. Yeah. Very sweet of you, y'all. TheHauntedSide.com. Support the show directly. All right, let's keep going.
With this, Corey, to you first on this. All right, so the guy wanted to bury his wife quickly. You know, in some religions, you have to right away. Obviously, it was a little bit out of context for them and what they knew of the Daybells. His entire direct, do you think it moved the ball in terms of, I mean, obviously he felt something was weird.
Well, the jury's probably...
And where there's smoke, there's fire. Oh, my word. Where there's smoke, there's fire, y'all. Is that Heavy Metal Bulldogs in the house? Oh, man. Heavy Metal Bulldogs. What you doing in here?
That was easy.
Pat, you're live. I checked and checked, but you weren't. Oh, that's weird. Caitlin, no, I'm here. Look, Heavy Metal Bulldogs. Yo, by the way, hit me with the hand hearts. Let's go. We got to get 100 of them. Yeah, this dude, crazy as hell, y'all. I want to hear what he says, though.
Listening to him and saying, well, listen, he already said that. He asked Jason, do you think he killed him? Because he's asking like simple questions. Like, why are you doing this so fast? You don't want to do an autopsy for hereditary reasons? Like, just simple, normal questions. And he's like, no, no, no. Put it in a box. Let's get this done on Sunday. See you at 6
Jesus.
p.m.
People do grieve differently, though, Michelle. You know, maybe he was just in shock.
Sure, it's one thing to grieve differently. It's another thing to say, I want to bury my wife in 48 hours and not shed a tear and not express any kind of real, you know, grief or just sorrow about the process. So that, coupled with there being no autopsy requested by the defendant, would raise an eyebrow. I mean, this is the mother of your children. Your children are probably torn up and grieving harshly.
Yeah, that whole part.
And wouldn't you want answers and find out what happened to my wife and our children's mother?
Angie, it let you do, I saw a thing that they did 3 of them. So there's that one, there's one that's 19, and then there's one, I think that was like 99 or something like that. But it was TikTok. They were like, oh, you unlocked having to do different levels. And if you do the different level, your little thing next to the THS changes. But yeah, if you click it, there's one that said, because I got to name them. And so I named them misdemeanor, felony, and capital case. So you could become a felony. Right now, you're a misdemeanor. If you have the black check, you're a misdemeanor. But you can go up to a felony, y'all. Click the subscriber thing, y'all. Capital case. There might even be a couple of capital cases in here.
You what?
Check it out, y'all.
So all of it is just kind of, it really.
And we're very close. YouTube, you guys are incredible. In fact, if everybody's watching on TikTok, come over and watch on YouTube as well. Just make sure you search The Mystery Project. That's the channel name on YouTube. We're very close. We're like days away from having channel memberships on YouTube. What? Yes. So we're going to have some felonies, misdemeanors, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're gonna have all that stuff over there as well. So yeah, I'm excited. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the love and the support, y'all. Seriously. I cannot do it without you. I cannot do it without you. All right, let's keep going. But y'all, if you're on TikTok, come over to YouTube, search The Mystery Project. Joanna, thank you. And hit me with those hand hearts, y'all. But yeah, come on over to YouTube and Rumble, y'all. We're on Rumble as well. Come on over. Yeah, worth it, but TikTok is getting insane, right? I know. All right, let's go.
Does raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, where everyone else is thinking, oh my gosh, Tammy's dead? And you're just like, yeah, can we get the show on the road here? And yeah, it's got to hit with the jurors, you would think. Now, cross-examination with all of these witnesses has always been something. John Pryor goes in, and guess what? He is going to ask Mr. Schultz, because you heard him say, I thought Chad was a great guy. Well, coming up, you're going to hear John Pryor say, do you still think he's a good guy? Wait till you hear the answer. Stay with us. Let's head back to Idaho for more testimony in the Doomsday Prophet murder trial. Chad Daybell charged with conspiracy and first-degree murder in the deaths of his first wife, Tammy, and J.J. Vallow and Tyler Ryan, the 2 youngest children of his second wife, Lori. Let's head back now. It's time for cross-examination. And watch closely. John Pryor puts it.
No, man. Here we go. What the hell's John Pryor? The hell's John Pryor going to be saying, y'all? Oh, Lord, here we go.
Out there with Chad's former neighbor.
This ought to be good.
Bruh. What? What the fuck?
I also have a tendency to talk quick and over-talk people. And it's an affliction I have. So between the two of us, this should be interesting. I'll try to slow down, though. You've known Chad's family actually longer than you actually have known Chad. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've known of Chad, but when I really got to know Chad was when we moved into the ward. That's when I got to know him better.
Okay.
I knew his parents from the same general area of town that we grew up in.
Okay. Okay. And do you recall that you spoke with Officer Mattingly about this case in an interview on February 19th of 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And an Officer Mattingly went over a number of topics, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about each of those if we could. Okay? All right. You mentioned the name Jason William. And Jason William is related, is it Jason William?
Yes, Jason Gwilliam is the husband of Samantha
Amanda, thank you.
Gwilliam, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell.
Okay. And you mentioned something about Jason, and Jason knew Chad fairly well.
I would hope so. Yes, he would.
Right. TikTok hand hearts. Let's go. Come on. 100. Let's crush it.
The part of their family.
Hit the follow button too. 50,000 likes. We're close. Oh, so close. 50,000 likes, y'all. Then let's go for 75,000.
Family forever.
Spoke very
Right.
highly of Chad.
Correct.
Had a very high opinion of Chad. Is that right?
That is correct.
And you as well. You had mentioned in the report you thought Chad was a good guy.
Yes.
Okay. Do you still have that opinion?
Yeah, I guess I think Chad is a good person.
Okay.
All right. Never mind.
You mentioned with Officer Mattingly that Chad had spoke to you a little bit about what happened regarding Tammy. Is that right? About the manner in which she passed away. Is that correct?
Yes, I had that conversation with Chad.
Do you recall telling Officer Mattingly that Chad said Tammy had been sick and had a cough?
Jennifer, thank you for the confettis. Did we hit 50,000? Yes, we did. 51,000. Y'all. Killing it. Keep tapping the screen. Let's get 75K. Hit the follow button. Hit me with the hand hearts. Come on, we're almost halfway there.
Spasm. And he woke up, found her dead.
I'm repeating that from what Chad had told me.
Okay. And you mentioned that Jason Gwilliam also was aware that Tammy had some medical issues as well. Is that right?
That's what so Jason had indicated to me as well.
During your discussion with Jason, there was a history of some medical problems that Tammy was experiencing. Is that correct?
I don't know if I can confirm that.
Okay. But you talked to Jason about some medical problems, correct?
Yeah, that he had heard from Chad as well.
Okay. Okay. At the time, you told Officer Mattingly that Chad found her dead beside
Thank you for the love, Janet. Very sweet.
the bed in the morning. That he called Garth to come and help out. Do you recall telling Officer Mattingly that?
Yes.
That Chad said he thought the coroner told him Tammy had an embolism.
Chad told Jason or me?
Told you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chad told me that the coroner said that she had apparently died from an embolism.
And sir, how long have you practiced the occupation that you practiced until your retirement in 2022?
About 12 years.
Okay. So you've had a significant amount of experience in viewing bodies and looking for things that you have a concern about regarding issues relating to people after they've passed. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Where's he going with this, y'all? He's always got some kind of ulterior motive. Ash, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Janet, thanks for the cheer me ups. I need them right now, y'all. Thanks for the cheer me ups. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Let's keep going. Where's the... Oh, there it is.
And you understand, and please let me know that if there ever is an instant where you were to find some problem with a body, whether it was something suspicious or something of a concern, are you under a legal obligation to report that to law enforcement as part of your licensing?
Typically not, because I would should have been overlooked already by either the medical examiner.
Oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's like, you're not trained to do that. You're not even required to do that. So it's basically just speculation. Even if you thought you saw something suspicious, it wouldn't make a difference because you're not required to report it anyways, is what he's trying to say. Oh, man. John Pryor. Oh, I don't agree with what he's saying, but you have to admit, Like, it makes sense. Even though we don't like it, and we're like, I don't like the fact that you're trying to cast doubt, but that's literally what he's trying to do, is cast doubt. But Chad Daybell, I mean, come on, you're guilty as hell. He can cast all the doubt in the world he wants, and he can bring up a lot of good points that make you go, if you play devil's advocate and really think about it, it makes sense, but I don't think it's overwhelming. I don't think there's like something where you're just like, oh, he didn't do it. Angie, yes, I absolutely will. Sorry, I wanted to make that point. Angie, what are you doing?
Get out of my attic.
It's about connection.
It is about connection. Y'all, put some hearts in the chat for Angie. She went off the grid unicorn, y'all. Damn. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You what?
Off the grid unicorn. Angie, thank you. Hearts in the chat for everybody, y'all. I appreciate it. Support the show directly. TheHauntedSide.com. You can find all kinds of ways. Hit me with the hand hearts, y'all. We're out at almost 30 of them. We're trying for 100. Keep tapping the screen like crazy. Hit the follow button. My name's Patrick if you like true crime. And we're live on YouTube and Rumble too. So shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Rumble. Y'all hit the like button over there. And TikTok, if you want to see the video we're watching and not just hear it, search The Mystery Project on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. That's me. We're live right now. And search The Mystery Project on Rumble and subscribe to that channel as well. All right, let's keep going.
The coroner or the doctor who was the attending physician.
Okay, so you're not under any legal obligation to report if you see something suspicious.
No.
But under a moral obligation, you would report something if you found it suspicious, would you not?
You know what? I don't know if I really would report it or not, because it's already been determined by that attending person,
Right.
who knew that. So I don't know who I'd report it to.
Okay. So when you say
He's basically just discrediting that. He's discrediting it, y'all. He's literally saying, well, you're not legally required to report it. Are you morally required? And he even said, well, I'm not really. And it's already been determined by the medical examiner. So I'm not, I wouldn't even do it morally. And John Pryor's like, thank you. So that lady already said that it was this natural, the coroner already said it was natural causes, an embolism. So why are you even talking about this right now? And the jury's sitting over there like, why is he even talking about this right now? Oh, I hope not. Well, I don't know. Oh, man. Damn, it's crazy. Let's keep going, y'all. This is crazy. This is a completely different case than Lori Vallow. This is a completely different case.
that attending person, if someone passes away and there's a physician there, obviously there's no need to do an autopsy. Is that right?
Only if the medical examiner dictates it requires one.
Okay.
A lot of times the family will ask us if we want to have an autopsy done. In that case, they can bypass the medical examiner and have it done, a private autopsy done.
Okay.
Just to satisfy their curiosity.
But ultimately, do you understand that a coroner is the one who makes the final decision as to whether or not there's going to be an autopsy?
Yes, because that person will then contact the family.
And it's really the coroner's obligation to go through and look at a body and make an initial determination as to whether or not there's any foul play or anything of a concern. Would that be fair?
It's a good question, because if you'd have to trust your medical examiner or your coroner.
Right, right. And and you don't know whether or not after they make this examination, if they're under any obligation to report any foul play, do you?
I don't know what they're.
Okay.
haven't.
But in any event, you took the time because you felt that the funeral was moving along quicker than you would like it to be.
Outside the standard norm, yes.
And when you talked about the standard norm, you mentioned that the standard norm is 3 to 4 days?
Typically.
Okay. So what we were looking at is doing this in 2 days, not 3 days, right?
Yes, but there was some talk about wanting maybe to do it on a Monday.
Right.
So that again.
Okay, cross-examination with John Pryor, Corey Pegues, and Michelle Thomas are still with us. Michelle is usually in Silver Spring, Maryland. Now she's in our studio. Corey,
Heavy Metal Bulldogs, you need to add your playlist things that make you go, right? And Unhinged Bananas Crazy.
Unhinged Bananas Crazy.
Amen to that. Yeah, it's crazy.
usually in New York. Glad to have both of you here on this Friday. Michelle, what do you think of this this answer? Do you still think he's a good guy? He said yes.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate answer for this witness because that is not what the state wanted him to say. They wanted him to say, well, no, I think that he murdered his wife and therefore you're not a good person. But
It was
unfortunately,
risky, wasn't it, asking that question?
It was. It could have gone left, but he got the answer that he was looking for, a defense counsel. So they're going to have to rehabilitate him on redirect regarding that particular question.
Corey, were you surprised that the answer was, yeah, I still think he's a good guy? I mean, I've said, OJ, some people thought was a good guy.
Yeah.
But the problem is here, once someone is a, if on one end you think he killed Tammy, why do you think he said yes, that he thinks he's a good guy?
I was actually more surprised that it was a long pause. When he asked him the question, and I'm like tapping Michelle, like, is he going to answer the question? It was like 3 to 5 seconds. So they have a relationship for many years.
Right.
So, he's a good guy, but I still think he murdered Tammy.
Right. How do you clean that up for the state, Michelle, or do you go back in, or is it too risky? You don't want him to reiterate that you think that he thinks Chad's a great guy or good guy?
I think it's worth the effort for the state to try to rehabilitate him. If they
Yeah, I think so too. That's crazy as hell. Y'all, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen. Let's get to 75,000 likes, and y'all hit me with the little hand hearts down there. We're almost halfway there, y'all. Come on, we got to crush these goals. It's the first goal. We got to crush it, so TikTok will keep sharing out the live stream, y'all. Come on. Let's do it.
ask the right questions, pointed questions, and say, was there a time when you thought he was a good person, when you two were friends? But today, now that once you had these suspicions, did that change?
Michelle,
did you ever then think of him in any other kind of way? So I think they should make the effort to try to clean that up because it's not helpful for the state.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get a break here. When we come back, we're going to hear the state come back. And one of the questions asked from the state is Chad someone who's comfortable around death? We'll get the answer to that question.
Holy hell. Melissa, thanks for the hand heart. Very sweet.
And see if they try to get some explanation on this good guy. Talk about Chad Daybell right after this.
We are underway in the trial of doomsday prophet Chad Daybell.
Prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty against him.
Investigators have recovered human remains at Chad Daybell's residence.
There's no way, Morgan, I should never come up with this.
His wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, has already been convicted.
Now, will her husband end up with the same fate?
It's just so hard to know where the truth ends.
It's the doomsday prophet, Chad Daybell, on trial.
Whoa.
We've been watching testimony in Idaho. It's day 12 of the Doomsday Prophet murder trial against Chad Daybell. He faces first-degree murder charges for the 2019 deaths of his first wife, Tammy.
And that is crazy, y'all. It is day 12 on that.
And his second wife, Lori Vallow's kids, JJ and Tylee. Their bodies, of course, found on old Chad's property back in 2020. Let's head back into the courtroom now, picking up the cross-examination right where we left off of Chad's former neighbor and colleague.
That, again, just certain red flags.
But you don't know if whether or not this was a reaction to grief or whether just someone wanted to just, not, as you expressed it, the hoopla. And what do you mean by the hoopla?
Getting things ready for the program, getting things ready for luncheons that need to transpire, doing things that the typical funeral would have to take some time to prepare and get people on board with you.
And in your experience, that could have two facets to it. That could either be a healing process for the family to go through that, right?
That could.
Or on the alternative, that could be an extremely emotional and difficult thing to go through that healing process. And we don't know which one we were dealing with here, right?
We do not.
Right. Okay. And according to what I'm reading in Officer Mattingly's report, you told him Chad said he didn't want to drag this thing out.
Right.
He didn't say he wanted to hide anything, did he?
No, he did not. The only thing he told me was he did not want to drag this thing out.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. And then you took the time to look at the face of Tammy. Is that right?
Correct.
You looked at the neck.
Yes.
You didn't see any issues of any kind of trauma or anything that would cause anything of a concern. Is that right?
From my limited medical knowledge, no.
Right. And I understand that. You don't have the expertise. But if there was a concern, there was no visible concern of any kind of a problem. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then you looked at her arms as you dressed her. Is that right?
Yes.
And you didn't see anything on her arms that would cause you any kind of a concern. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay. And nothing on her legs that would cause you to have any concern, right?
Correct.
Okay. And nothing on any other part of her body that would make you draw any concerns for you. Would that be fair?
Correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
You talked about Chad being a sexton. And a sexton is someone who works in the funeral business. Is that right?
Correct.
And Chad's occupation was part of it was to mow the grounds or take care of the lawn and the grounds area?
That's part of his responsibility, yes.
And in terms of dealing with the actual grave sites, there wasn't a situation where he would actually hand dig the graves, would he?
Very few hand dig. They have a backhoe.
Right. And you
right.
anticipated what I say. Nobody uses a shovel anymore to do
Correct.
that. That's from the 1800s.
Whenever, yeah.
So in essence, what it is someone on your staff would take out a backhoe and use a backhoe to dig up a grave, right?
Is he really trying to say that because he had experience in digging graves in modern times that he would have used modern equipment and not a shovel, which is what we know because there was DNA found on those tools in his shed from... Is he literally trying to make the defense that, well, he's proficient in digging holes, for lack of a better explanation, and that he wouldn't have done it that way, and that somebody inexperienced, say Alex or Lori, they would do it that way? Because is that really the defense right now, y'all? Because that's what I'm reading it as.
Bruh.
Is that really what you want to do? Y'all tell me. I might be reading way too much into it, but that seems like what's happening. That's like when the one attorney for Gabby Petito, and remember the family, and they were like, oh yeah, when what was his name, Brian? When Brian's parents said that they hoped they were reunited soon, that it didn't necessarily mean that she would be alive. You remember that? And we were like, are you arguing that they didn't say she was going to be alive when they were reunited? I'm kind of getting the same vibe right now with that. Yeah, maybe if he was out in the open and doing it the right way for the right reasons, he would use something like that. But if you're doing it and you're trying to stay, you did something illegal like that, something that terrible to kids, you're probably not going to want to have a backhoe going crazy in your yard. And people be like, oh, I wonder what they're digging over there. And then police start asking questions. Oh, yeah, we saw a backhoe over there, not just somebody out with a shovel. I see what he's trying to do, but I don't like it. And that one I don't think is going to stand up because anybody with common sense is going to say they wanted to do this under the cover of night, probably, or be as inconspicuous as possible, I would think. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Leave a comment right now. Let me know in the chat. Hit the thumbs up button on Rumble. Hit the thumbs up button on YouTube, y'all. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Rumble. Do all the things. TikTok. Let's talk with you for a second. 400-something people watching. Everybody hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, we do these live streams every single night. Tap the screen like crazy, too, y'all. Let's get 75,000 likes. We're almost there. We're at 63,000. And, y'all, we got to hit this goal. We got to hit this goal. We're trying to get 30, or we're trying to get 100 of the hand hearts, and we're at 30. So, everybody watching, hit me with one little hand heart real quick. Let's crush that real quick. Everybody hit me with one. If you're enjoying the show, it just helps support the show, helps me go live every night, and it lets TikTok know to spread the live stream out to more people. So the more goals we hit, y'all, the better it is. William, just like that. Let's go. Thank you so much. See, don't let the love train stop with William, y'all. Come on. Hit me with a little hard action. Black Rose, I like that one too. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
Sexton's from the Sexton's boss, I mean, or
Yeah, the sexton's boss would do that, or who would do that? Use the backhoe.
Tina, thank you.
who would determine to use the backhoe?
Who would be authorized to use the backhoe when you're doing that as part of this process?
Well, it's typically the sexton.
Okay, so Chad might have had some experience with a backhoe, right?
He does.
Okay, maybe not experience with using a shovel to dig graves, though, right?
Correct.
Right.
That is exactly what he's trying to say, y'all. You see what he's doing? You see his little maneuvering around? Tina, thank you. Nami, thanks for the follow.
Okay, the cross continues. John Pryor trying to get out of this funeral director that Chad's just maybe an oddball, but a good guy. Michelle Thomas and Corey Pegues still with us. Final thoughts here before we hit a break. Corey, end of the day, we're seeing a lot of these things that John Pryor is fighting and fighting and fighting. And you watch, you think, okay, well, maybe he'll hook a juror. That the problem is it's building. There's too much. There's too much to explain away. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a heavy hill to climb, but at least I've given him an E for effort or an A for effort.
An A plus.
An A plus. He's trying, but it's too much.
He's a great lawyer, and I know a lot of people are like, stop talking about how great John Pryor is. It's a fact. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, that is a objective fact. That's an objective fact, y'all. He's doing for what he has, he's doing a pretty good job as an attorney. Now, do we have to like it? No. Can we have opinions on how even a very good attorney can be using very good attorney tactics for a very bad person? Yes. And I think that's what's happening here. In my own tiny little opinion, you are innocent until proven guilty, but damn.
I don't think he has a chance here because of the facts. And the big two are that those two kids are on his property. Michelle.
Not only are they on his property, but he's a grave digger as a profession. No, as a profession. So that doesn't help.
And a profit.
And a profit. So
and
none of those facts add up. And, John Pryor, the facts are not on his side, but he is doing the best he can to try to identify some points to try to save his client.
And at some point, Corey, it might be a win here is sparing him the death penalty.
That is the win.
Right.
That's the win, and not getting the death penalty.
And if you're a juror, it's always difficult. We cover so many death penalty cases where you're thinking, oh, slam dunk, this person did it. And the end of the day, the death qualified juror who in voir dire said, absolutely, I voted for this a million times, and I sat in my living room talking about the death penalty. Now you're in the jury box, and you have someone's life in your hands. It's much different, is it not?
Absolutely, because that decision, will will weigh on you probably for the rest of your life. And so the jurors, when it's them having to make that decision, they definitely, I think, give it a lot more weight. And it's like, well, wait a minute, not so fast with the death penalty.
Into the courtroom now, the final moments of cross-examination of Stephen Schultz. He's a former neighbor and friend of Chad, but also former colleague. He is a funeral director, and remember, Chad used to work in that business as a gravedigger. He's opining about how he had an uh-oh feeling after Tammy died, and Chad wanted to rush the funeral along.
Now, at the time of the service, all of the kids spoke. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all 5 kids.
Wait, one was on a mission, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 4 kids.
4 kids.
You're right. When Chad was talking during the funeral, he broke down. He became very emotional.
He did.
Okay. Was that something in all of the experience that you've had knowing Chad and his family, did that seem genuine?
Yes, it appeared genuine from my point of view.
And in your point of view is that you've known Chad for a good part of his life. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not his entire life, for that 9 to 10 year period. And we moved into the neighborhood.
And you worked with him.
And I worked with him.
And you had an opportunity, like you said, during the time that you had downtime during other people's funerals, you'd have a chance to get acquainted with each other.
Correct.
So much that you made the opinion that you think Chad's a good guy.
That yes.
Okay.
From 2000 up until 2015,
right.
I had no problems.
Right. And then during the actual funeral, you had noticed that Chad and Emma were crying as well.
Yes.
Chad was doing something with his hair. He was emotional that he was tugging on his hair or something, you said?
Okay. Now, that is part of I just barely got to see the police report maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
There was either a typo or I had maybe I'd given the information talking about Chad. I may have mentioned Chad in the report. It was not Chad in the who was leaning over the casket, and it was his son Garth.
Okay.
Who was there showing the extreme distress, emotional distress, and
right.
And Emma was there as well.
Okay, and were you aware that Garth and Tammy were extremely close?
Yes, Tammy was a good mother to all of her children.
She was particularly close with Garth, though. Do you recall?
I don't know if I could answer that she was one way or the other.
Okay.
Can't put a hierarchy to it.
Okay. And I appreciate that.
Okay.
You mentioned somewhere in the report that you thought of Chad as a brother. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
And again, Jason William, at the time of the death of Tammy, didn't say anything particularly negative about Chad, right?
No. In fact, he defended him with my comment about, do you think he killed her?
Right.
She said, oh, no.
Jason shared the same opinion that Chad is someone who's a good person.
Yes. He would never do that.
Okay.
According to him.
And sir, thank you. And I appreciate it.
Okay. Redirect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Damn.
Mr. Schultz, to pick up where the defense just left off, excuse me, did Jason, in addition to thinking Chad was a good person, express any other thoughts about Chad at that time?
No, the thing that he mentioned was when I made that comment, his direct quote back to me is, "Oh no, not Chad, never."
Have you since had conversations with Jason about this?
Yes.
Are you aware if he holds the same opinion?
He does not hold the same opinion.
And I want to go back to the question that you were asked about your opinion of Chad. You remember that question?
Yes.
And in that question, in your answer, you said, effectively, Chad is a good person, but will you please explain to the jury now, what was the but? What were you wanting to say at that point?
Well, the but was the red flags that have come up since Tammy was deceased.
See that part. Stella. Let's go. Welcome back. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. Thanks for ringing the subscribe bell and supporting the channel. Very much appreciated. Y'all, I switched it over to the big roses. The Rosa. Y'all, hit me with the big Rosa. Let's get 111 of those bad boys. Hit the follow button if you're new here at TikTok. Hit the follow button and tap the screen like crazy. We're very close to 75,000 likes. And we might see some unicorns in the house. We might just do it.
Get out of my attic.
I don't know. We might even see some unicorn off the grid action, y'all. TheHauntedSide.com. Support the show directly. All right, let's keep going.
And the time of the basically the trial, the things that were being said, if you want particulars, certainly.
Don Gomez in the house. Good to see you. Oh man, the screen might start going crazy, y'all. I don't know. Don is in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for the heart behind. All right, let's keep going.
If you like to share with the jury, okay. Well, there's obviously the doomsday type thing that after he left Utah, he got involved in a group. You want to cut me off? What? Oh, sorry. Okay. I thought you were raising your hand. No, sorry. I had most of this was from Jason, who had conversations with him as well about a date of the second coming, when that would happen. Also of the catastrophes that would follow: Deer Creek Dam breaking, Utah County being flooded, white tents in a city being developed for the chosen, the elected, the people, and those types of things are what made me have the suspicion when I went up there and found things appeared to be rushed, in my opinion.
Melissa, thanks for the rose. Lynn, thanks for the Rosa. Yo, that's what we're trying to hit, them Rosas. 111.
And that's why those are the red flags that I. Thank you.
You were asked a question about the norm of a funeral typically being more than 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days on the average.
And you still felt like this situation was rushed, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was the fact that the death had occurred on a Saturday and there was a desire to have a funeral, or at least a viewing Monday, does that play into the rushed feeling?
It does, because everything's closed on the weekend. You can't get a death certificate. You can't. You got to find. We have to have time to order caskets in. We have to have time for the funeral preparation. It can be done, and in this case, I think it was done by having the funeral on Tuesday, because that gave us one full working day where we could contact the authorities that we needed to get everything in order and ready for the service.
On a Sunday, are you able to contact a newspaper to put in an obituary?
We can put one in, but it's not guaranteed that it will be in the next publication.
Was that?
Tina, first gift too. Thank you for the rose. Yes, thanks for the rose as well. Very sweet, y'all.
Part of your concern for the rush?
Yes.
You were asked questions about Chad's ability to use a shovel versus a backhoe.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that. We don't use shovels anymore, except for when you're done burying, then you use a little bit of shovel just to kind of flatten out the blot.
Based on your background and experience with Chad, particularly that work background that you already talked about,
right?
Would it be safe to say, was Chad someone who was comfortable around death?
Oh, yeah, he would have to be.
Ooh. Tina, thank you.
And yes, Chad wrote, he's an
Desiree, good to see you. This dude is
author. He's written books about death and dying as well. He's not squeamish about anything as far as being around a dead person. Although that must have been traumatic for him to have his wife in that position. But yeah.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I don't have any more questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wixom. Mr. Pryor, that was narrow redirect. Do you have any requests for recross? All right. That final topic, I think, went outside the scope of direct, so you may inquire on that final topic about the books.
We'll judge on the comfortable with death as well.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Being involved in the funeral business, such as you are also comfortable with death and viewing bodies. Is that right?
Correct.
And that goes with part of the occupation. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay. And just because someone writes books doesn't necessarily mean, if Chad hadn't had his experience as a sexton, just the fact that someone writes books about topics that make some people uncomfortable doesn't mean that you're necessarily comfortable with death. Would you agree with that?
I'm not really sure. Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Just because someone writes books about topics that make people uncomfortable, does that mean that you're necessarily comfortable with death if you've had no other experience?
I think that would probably have to vary from person to person.
That's fair enough. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right, that'll conclude the testimony of Mr. Schultz. Is the state intending?
Okay, that's it for the funeral director, Stephen Schultz, talking about his feelings about Chad and Tammy and the way that Chad wanted this all to happen so fast after Tammy's death. And he knew Tammy, and he was with his associate Jason Gwillem, who knew Tammy and Chad.
Julie, I mean, the way he phrased it is kind of weird, but he's trying to make people confused, right? He's trying to get the jury to just go, huh, and interpret that how they think. He didn't give a yes or no. He just said, well, it would probably vary from person to person. So he's making it doesn't even matter what it's about. He just wants people in the jury to go, huh, it is person to person. What is? What do you even talk? Huh? You know what I mean?
Very well, because he's married to Tammy's sister, and both of them had suspicions when they were driving Tammy back to Springfield. Let's bring in Matthew Mangino. He's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, criminal defense attorney, former district attorney. Matthew, what's your take here on this witness that, you know, on cross he said he still thinks Chad's a good guy. Maybe that's a win, but bottom line is it's another
crazy. Melissa, thanks for the roses. Y'all hit me with the roses. Come on, let's get 111 of those bad boys. We can do that, y'all.
Person that is painting a suspicious picture surrounding Tammy's death.
Well, yes, Ted, he does, paint this picture of suspicion or sort of doubt about the manner of Tammy's death. He talks about the things that sort of...
Yeah, the way he said bye-bye was kind of weird. He's like, bye-bye.
Piqued his...
Ashton, thank you so much for the roses. Y'all, hit me with some roses. Hit me with them roses. Hit me with the follow. If you're new here, tap the screen like crazy too. Let's get, we hit 75,000. We got to go for 100 now, y'all. Let's do it. 100,000 likes.
Interest, and one was this whole doomsday situation, but also that that Chad Daybell wanted to rush the funeral. That he couldn't do certain things that he normally would do in preparation for a funeral because of the weekend. He wasn't sure about the obituary, and so he was concerned about why the showing and ultimately the funeral was being rushed. But again, as you also said, the defense was able to get out of him that Chad Daybell was like a brother to him. That they were very close, and he never would have suspected anything like this other than when these issues began to arise that it sort of got his attention.
Yeah, and he did 2 independent sort of surveys of Tammy's body looking for something because he had that feeling that this wasn't right, and he didn't find anything.
Melissa, thank you. Nas, thanks for the rose. Michelle, thanks for the rose too.
that was suspicious in that cursory sort of examination. Obviously not a doctor, but he was suspicious enough to look for something out of the ordinary and didn't find it.
You're looking for something out of the ordinary and didn't find it. Damn. Y'all. All right, Joy, thanks for the follow. Yo, TikTok, hit the follow button. Tap the screen like crazy. Melissa, thanks for the big Rosa. That's the one we need right now. YouTube and Rumble. YouTube, I'm going to end this stream right now. It's going to send you over to the next one. Rumble, you just have to stick around on the page and keep refreshing until it starts. But yeah, the next one is going to be crazy as hell. That's all I'm going to say. But you guys, you want to stick around because it's going to be crazy. Okay, I'm going to end this stream because I got to set up the next one. Love you guys. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's go.